Hello and welcome. Just a heads up, I'm a little full from lunch. But anyways, so pardon me, and I noticed that I'm just being vulnerable while I'm doing this. That's fine. Okay. Something that came to mind today. Um, the fact that, when you have your birth chart, typically a birth chart, because it's about individuals and perspective. I always thought I had this realization years ago that when I started looking at several charts, I started noticing I was like, why is it there's like every chart is different, right? But then I looked, something came to mind. I got this download. Why is it that like it was actually my sister in my birth chart, and I was like, how come she sees it differently than I do? But it's more like the question more was more like it's not a was it wasn't a question anymore. It was just like, oh, a realization. It was like this aha moment that she obviously sees family different than I did. Which makes sense because that's the what what I was like. I came across this video again, and I knew that this from other videos too, that this other people talk about it, that it is our perspective is different. But how it shows up in astrology is literally the fact that there are different charts. Okay, so I was watching this video and they were talking about having this paper. They drew dots on top of one side and then the other one, the same location. So they said, okay, but then there are two of them facing each other, or rather, because it's a view, it's your perception of what you're seeing, but the other person's seeing it this way. Are you seeing it this way? They're seeing it this way, right? So that's just how it is. Like if you think of reality and one person sees it this way or this way, it doesn't matter whether we're facing each other or not. It doesn't matter. One is seeing it differently than the other because of where the angle is, where it is. And one way to really understand where that is if you go into if you go to their side or if they go to your side. So the point is, there's always going to be this. It's also kind of like, I feel like it's connected to the concept of duality, right? Because we have this duality belief in this life as being humans or in the third dimension or in the physical form. Same thing. Um, so there's a choice to be made. That's the whole point I'm getting here. Astrologically speaking, what would happen then is if you look at what you call synastry charts. So love astrology, okay? And there's a thing called a midpoint chart. So where you have the charts literally become one chart. It's not that one chart is over the other, like the wheel. It literally becomes like a midpoint chart, like as if you are two persons becoming one person, and this is your chart as that one. It's very beautiful. But anyways, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I wanted to make another video, so I'm going to be wearing the same thing, just to let you know. Not that it matters. Kind of did for a second there, but yeah. So that's that. So really, what it is perspective. So how we change our perspective is by choice, and if we don't do that, then we either accept it or just we see it as it is. We surrender to that moment, which is then ties into my next video, which I'm going to actually post after this one. But so yeah, so there's that. I just wanted to point that out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one when you get it as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. And if you have any comments below, if you have any comments, what do you call experiences with midpoint chart or synastry and how that changes perspective and how astrology itself has helped you change perspective, you know. One thing I'm forgetting that they're reminding me of is when we look at choice and we look at person chart, it actually gives us information of them that gives us this perspective that if we get to know someone through their chart, it's not that we really know them, it's that it gives us a vantage point, so to speak. Like it helps us realize, okay, well, that's their path. So it gives us this comfort that it's like, oh, well, I already know that. That's fine. That's just how they are. But and sometimes when you meet the person, I didn't know this about you. But then when you look at a person's chart all of a sudden you're like, oh, so this is how they do, this is how they behave, this is how it is, this is how it is. Right. Another thing they reminded me of is if you look at your two charts and you look at how perspective applies to all of this, how choice is also applicable here. It's not just to the midpoint in synastry, but you just look at two separate charts. It doesn't have to be combined charts or anything at all like that. Um, but you look at the houses. If you look at the houses, you'll see that you'll see specifically what their experiences are with that aspect of life. Like family, for example, when I saw my sisters and my chart, she saw it differently. I see it differently. So, right? So that in a way can lead to some sort of healing or at least some sort of release if you know, if you choose to. Okay. It's all about choice now. You have sovereignty, you have choice. Whatever choice you make, there's not right or wrong. It's a choice you make, and that's how you learn from that. Okay. So, anyway, that's it. That's all they're getting. Okay. Thank you very much for watching again. Comment down below if you have any questions, comments, whatever it is. Please like and subscribe if you want to. You know what to do. I'll see you guys later. I didn't really introduce myself, but I will in the next video. Thank you. I'll see you guys later. Bye.